is an expert who is at the forefront of assisting businesses and adapting to the constantly shifting terrain of data centers and technology. Please welcome Kirk Offel. And Kirk, how did you get involved in this field to begin with?
Well, good morning, Kelly, and thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. I came from the mission critical background originally. My whole lineage is former military. I myself am former Navy, born and raised on military bases. And in the military, we consider that industry very mission critical. We just measure it on our own mortality. When I got out of the military in 2000, I stumbled into this amazing industry, still at the punk rock stage, I'd like to say, of technology, where the Internet of Things, the World Wide Web was just emerging. We hadn't gotten to social media yet. And I fell right into this industry that is also called mission critical. The only difference is they measure it on the downtime of the business. So it was a really easy transition for me and a lot of my fellow veterans to come from an industry that was the integrity of what we were doing was so high that we measured it in life and death. And now when we get in the civilian community, it's measured on downtime, and we thrive and do very well in those environments.
I've got to ask, because I think the biggest difference that we're seeing these days, especially, is the introduction of AI. How is that playing a role in what you're doing?
Yeah, the adoption rate of all emerging technologies, specifically that surge of AI, as you're saying, is drawing a big impact on the infrastructure of our country. We've produced more data in the last 9 months than in the history of the world combined. And data, which is the number one or most valuable commodity on earth now, drives and demands a great deal of energy, a great deal of power. And it takes a lot of people to support that. So I got to be right here at the front of a birth of a brand new industry that has the ability to not only impact society and the communities that we live in, but it does have the ability to impact humanity when we're done.
So are there advantages and disadvantages of AI, or is it still so new that people are still trying to figure it out?
It's very new. People are still trying to figure it out, but they should remain very optimistic and very hopeful. We just started the fifth industrial revolution. And if you look at the fifth industrial revolution, it's designed for us to all to have a healthier and more harmonious relationship with the machines and the technology in our lives. So technology, as an example, allows me to grow my business, but I spend most of my time building the sky for the cloud and the home for AI. So those engines that we're building on a daily basis are also the tools that we use to grow and scale our business.
So tell us a little bit about your business, Overwatch Mission Critical. What is it and what exactly do you do?
Thanks for asking. So we build the sky for the cloud and the home for AI. So we talked about the adoption rate of emerging technology, and the surge of AI is number one driver of technology today. So the problem that AI has is it demands a massive volume of aggregate power, and that power needs to be solved by people. So the existential threat in this industry is power and people, and what we provide are people that have the ability to go solve the problems with power. So we do staff augmentation, and we specialize originally from just hiring military veterans. Veterans come from a background with the extreme technology. The most advanced weapons, machinery, and technology on earth are found in the military. So we hired first from the military. But what we do is we work for some of the largest cloud providers, the largest social media providers, and the largest AI providers in the world. And the feedback we get from them is that the teams that we provide them are not only skilled with the talents that are necessary to perform the technology duties they need, but their emotional range is higher. And that is because they've had to deal with mission critical environments in the past that was measured in their own mortality. So what we do is we provide leaders onto programs, and those leaders build teams. And when we're done, those teams build data centers. And those data centers, they're like cathedrals that serve as this sky for the cloud and the home for AI.
Now, you have a podcast, Data Center Revolution, and on it, you've discussed the silver tsunami and the implications for the industry. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I'd love to. It's not a secret, but there's only 4 generations in the workforce today. Baby boomers, people like me, which are Gen X. We have the millennials or the Gen Y. And then lastly, the digital pioneers that have been born and raised with technology in their hands from birth. And that's Gen Z. And Gen Z is on path to outnumber the number of baby boomers in the workforce before the end of this year. So this industry started technically in 1945, but a lot of people would argue that this industry started in 1994. And that's when Amazon.com went live with their website. So we're about a 30-year-old industry just coming into mainstream. And what happens is more than half of our workforce has been in this industry for more than 20 years. And what's going to happen is maybe a stabilized economy, maybe de-escalated tensions between us and other nations, or maybe the end of all wars that we know today. Maybe what happens is we start seeing this wave of baby boomers start retiring in the next 3 to 5 years. And the only people that we will have to backfill them will be the Gen Zers that were born and raised with this technology. And they are going to be the ones that consumed it the greatest and will have the best solutions to help us solve for the problems. Again, the fifth industrial revolution is designed for us to have a healthier and more harmonious relationship with the machines and the technology in our lives. So we welcome and embrace Gen Z, and we want to see what they have to do to change or move the needle in this space.
So everybody has their own place in this business as far as your recruitment efforts and your overall success.
There are 9 different job domains in the data center industry that represent 265 different jobs. We don't even look for college degrees. In fact, the most appealing background to us is someone that comes from the trades, that knows how to self-perform labor with their hands, maybe a craftsman type trade, or the military, which again is the home for the most advanced weapons and machinery and technology in the world. So we don't necessarily avoid college degrees, but we don't put a premium on top of that. So this industry is what I like to call, and what I tell my kids, it's pretty punk rock, meaning you can reinvent yourself regardless of your age, regardless of your background, and you don't need a college degree to go have an amazing career helping us build the home for AI and the sky for the cloud.
Do you think we're seeing a shift? Because I think there was a time not long ago where it was college, and now we're seeing that shift where the trades and not necessarily going to college is still beneficial in the workforce.
Of course. You're talking to a person that is 3rd generation military. Every man in my lineage is military. And I was always taught when I would talk to other kids that, like, oh, you only go in the military if you can't get a real job or if you can't get into the trades. The reality is if you go to college today, most likely what you're learning today in college will be obsolete by the time you graduate from college. Try to imagine how you used technology 4 years ago. Try to imagine how you use it today. Try to imagine how you're going to use it in 2 years from now, or even 4 years from now. And it's impossible. So it's not that the technology itself is making your role in college obsolete. It's just the technology, the means and methods and the vehicle of technology that you use will be obsolete by the time you graduate. So we're looking for people that have a great creative skill set and they want to reinvent themselves, because what we're talking about is an industry that's never been built before. So try to imagine I work and operate today amongst the Henry Fords of my space, and the soup's not done cooking. So this is a great opportunity for all those digital pioneers and Gen Z that were born and raised with smartphones in their hands and then end up getting applications like social media. They're the best people to help introduce to us concepts and ideas that allow us to transform society and one day have an impact on humanity.
So are there some key components of finding your talent?
There certainly are. I cheat. I just take a page out of the playbook and I go and I try to hire veterans first, tradesmen second, and college graduates third. And I'll tell you why. The military does a fantastic job of giving you a trade, learning something with a skill, somehow using an advanced level of technology. The skills and the technology that you have, that's not what we create. We bring people in that have those skills and people that have already been exposed or immersed to technology. And what we do is we teach them the social dynamics of business. We believe there's 3 very simple things that we have to provide to our teams. One is they got to be inspired by what they're doing. You're working on technology. You're building the sky for the cloud. You're either inspired by what you're doing or you're inspired by who you're working with. 2, you got to feel safe. You got to make sure that it's not from the threats or the dangers and the projects. We build massive buildings and there's dangers in that. But the threats that I'm talking about that make people safe really come from the politics of a really bad culture. So we try to make sure they're inspired, they feel safe from a bad culture. And third, we make sure they're fulfilled by what they're doing. Typically what we've learned is they have to be doing something that's in service of their purpose. And if we could provide them inspiration, make sure that they're safe, and give them a purpose or allow them to be fulfilled by what they're doing, they'll take all their skill sets and they'll apply them in ways that is not only more economically efficient, but the feedback we get from all of our customers is that this group of people that we provide tends to have a higher level of output and productivity, because we don't focus on the skills, because the skills are going to be as good as a banana. But the social dynamics and chemistry to building teams and to building leaders it's never going to change. So I have an incredibly diverse workforce already. 43% of my workforce today are women. And that's not because I targeted them. It's because I've recruited heavily from the trades and from the military.
Kirk, quickly, how can folks find out more information about Overwatch Mission Critical?
Well, thanks for asking. I would encourage everybody to go to weareoverwatch.com. Again, that's weareoverwatch.com. And again, if you're a parent and you're not sure if you need to send your kid to college, there's another option. There's another option outside the military. There's another option outside the trades. And that's just getting right into technology. There are 6-figure paying jobs in technology that don't require any college degree. Don't wait those 4 years if you're ready to go reinvent yourself today. You can find us on social media. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. So I encourage people to find us on our website, weareoverwatch.com. And if you're looking to reinvent yourself, you want to find a new career, we challenge you to come help us build the sky for the cloud and the home for AI.
Kirk, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
It's been my honor. It's been a privilege. Thank you so much for having me.